fiber is life changing, but yeah, same idea.
I drink a lot of coffee. I
It
don't need
is. So I'm told.
I've been eating a lot of raisins. Didn't realize that would have an effect. Fruit.
Oh,
Fruit.
raisins?
Apparently, fruit is good for your system. I didn't know if you knew that.
Raisins are fruit?
I believe so. They're really good too.
Oh, man.
Fruit and vegetables.
I don't know.
Fruit and vegetables.
It's a little
Okay.
sus.
Like when someone hands me an oatmeal raisin cookie, I just go, "Nah, you can keep it."
Oh, I'll take
You
it.
motherfuckers.
I'll
Where's
take
the, where's the chocolate chips? You bastard. Why are you holding that on the chocolate chip?
Why are you so angry? As you can tell, Frank, we
Oh, you can speak freely.
whether you want to, if you want to, you can say whatever you want. We,
All right,
we just let it
we're
fly.
streaming live.
We
now.
are live. All right, Betty White's in there, Horse Trainer's in there, Shy's in there, everybody's in there. Shy, just side note, I was having a conversation with my brother-in-law the other day, and then which traveled into a conversation with Matt Sunday about pickleball. So we're gonna have to figure out.
Where?
I feel like I need to get some information from you about pickleball so that we can start a. Yeah, see, Betty White says raisins are fruit. I knew they were one of those, either fruits or
They're
vegetables.
dried grapes.
Isn't pickleball just basically tennis?
It's big ping pong. It's large ping pong,
Okay, ping pong, yeah.
right?
I don't know who the guy is going around marketing pickleball, but I'm hearing about it from every
Everywhere.
direction
Everywhere.
lately.
Yes, it's everywhere.
It's like a fad. It's like the
like
frisbee
running.
golf.
Like running.
I'll tell you what, Frank. I'll play pickleball
Yogi.
as long as there's like a bar right next door or something. I'll watch it and then participate when I want to after I've had a few beers. That's what it better be relate to golf in that way.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a set so I can bring it on our trips and stuff. Play it out in the desert and whatnot.
Yeah. All right. So, Frank, we're going to talk about your Instagram page. Is there any other place that you want to direct traffic?
Right now, Instagram is the best place. I'm going to be launching a series of videos pretty soon, probably by the end of the summer. And at that point, I'll launch a YouTube page, but it's not really set up yet. So Instagram will be where I announce that stuff and start directing people from there to YouTube. Instagram's really where I kind of started and the main focus for me, just because it was a photography portfolio to begin with. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Dude, you got some badass pictures on here, dude. You are super talented.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Are we? I think we're ready. Are you ready, Frank?
You never say that stuff about my pictures.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your pictures are shit. And I never see them. You take them, and they rarely ever show up in my
I'll
hard
upload them
drive.
on the folder, and they never see the light of day.
Yeah, Shy says he's a pickleball addict. Last time I was there hanging out with Shy, he was talking about how his elbow was all messed up, and his doctor was like, "You need to stop playing pickleball." And he's like, "Nope, not gonna do it." Okay, cool.
You got tennis elbow playing pickleball.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's other ways to get tennis elbow too at that age.
Yeah, tennis.
From tennis, yeah.
don't know
Sometimes golf.
I think you might have upset Shy there, and I don't know if that's a good idea.
All right, guys, we ready to get started? You ready, Frank?
Ready to go.
So I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. We'll go silent for about 5 seconds. That's just where the recording's going to start. And then at the end of the conversation, we'll say, thank you so much. Have a great night. But don't hang up. That's just where we're going to end the recording.
Okay.
All right. Let me get set up here. Start time. All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, it is Tuesday night at 6:30. We are live on YouTube as we are on Tuesday nights. This week we are joined in the video chat room by Frank Gonnello. You know him as Bronco on Instagram. How are you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for joining. Jose and I were introduced to Frank at Overland Expo. We kind of like bum rushed him with Jason from Outdoor by 4. Started having a chat, and then somehow convinced him to be on the show. He told us he was on the Anderson Overland show, and I told him this is much more of a step down from there. So we set expectations so that he's not going to be too disappointed by the end of this.
Well, we hope.
It's going to be disappointing for everybody involved. So we talked earlier about you're up in Northern California.
That's right. Yeah, the San Francisco Bay Area. Been up there for probably 6 or 7 years.
Oh, that's right. Matt is being a diehard Dodger fan, hates everything San Francisco.
Right.
Especially after you guys kicked our ass this weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still hurt by it.
But you're not originally from the Bay Area, right?
Yeah, no, I moved out there mostly for career opportunities. I've been moving around the country, but I originally am from New Jersey. Actually, I hate to talk about it, but it's what a lot of people refer to as the Jersey Shore.
Ah, nice.
So that's actually where I grew up and spent many, many summers.
So I didn't watch that show. Did you pay attention to it at all when it was on?
No, I actively made sure I didn't watch
I
it.
was like, watched it, I
and-
lived it.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask if it was at all an accurate representation of your teenage years.
He's like, that was my autobiography.
Yeah, it's an accurate representation of the people that would come down to visit every summer.
Got
That's
it.
the thing.
Got it.
So a lot of people don't realize that's not really what the Jersey Shore is like. It's what the people from New York and northern New Jersey are like when they let loose on the weekends down in the summer months.
Yeah. Yeah, it's similar to any other tourist location. You look at Huntington Beach or some of these other locations where people go down and Hemet. All the shenanigans occur that the locals are like, come on, man, you're ruining it for the rest of us. How long have you been in NorCal?
I'd say about 6 or 7 years.
Oh, wow.
I moved out there for just doing some career moves. I was doing privacy law at PlayStation. That's actually what drove me out there. So I'm an attorney by day and Bronco photographer and adventurer on the weekends.
So, okay, hold on. We
Yeah.
need to totally need to
Yeah.
unpack
Hold
this.
on.
I hope you got time here. So
I do.
privacy law at PlayStation. Is that the you write the user agreement at the front of when you first log in that nobody reads? Is that what we're talking about?
It's the second one that nobody reads. It's the privacy policy that I was involved with for that one. With PlayStation, they have something like 90 million users and a ton of information that the consoles collect about what people are doing, how they're playing games, how we market to them. It was a very interesting job, and I've been a gamer my whole life, just a video game nerd, and really fanboyed out when I got the job.
Yeah.
To be able to work on the PlayStation 5 before it came out and being in the know on some of the cool stuff that was coming out. I still play games pretty often. I think you had mentioned something about the charity work that I do, and we'll probably circle back to the video game thing because that has a big part of it. But yeah, I worked at PlayStation. It was a fun time. And then a few years later, I ended up changing jobs to Cruise, which is a self-driving car company in San Francisco. And that's been a lot of fun too, a lot of very different topics, but I've kind of transitioned from a privacy focused role to more general product counseling, the more all expansive kind of view and issue spotting. And as you could probably suspect, robot cars driving the streets of San Francisco with cameras and microphones. There's no shortage of legal issues. I have job security for quite a while.
That sounds like a movie.
Yeah.
Like, the robot cars of San Francisco.
Yeah. So does someone have to go to school for that, or is that like you can like put something on a resume like I worked at Trader Joe's and now you're a privacy lawyer? How does that? What's involved there?
Yeah, a lot of school and a lot of student debt. That's how you can get the job.
Oh, okay. All right.
They say it'll all work out in the end, so I'm waiting to see.
So the people in the chat room are already saying that you're going to sue us once the show drops, and it's a good thing I'm unemployed. I have no money. So so when did you graduate from school, and how long you been doing this?
I graduated from law school in 2012, and it's been quite a journey, to be honest. I didn't start off doing the privacy law stuff. I actually started doing criminal defense law. Maybe that'll come in handy for some of you guys. I don't know the way you're talking about
Absolutely.
yourself.
Hey, everybody in the chat room,
whoa.
keep his number, Casey specifically.
Yeah, it was at the time that I graduated law school, it was actually really a law career recession. A lot of law jobs, legal jobs were kind of drying up. The big firms were not having like summer associate positions, summer intern type roles, and it became pretty difficult. So I needed to get a job where I was getting some kind of legal experience. And I did the criminal defense stuff through a connection. I knew how to build websites, and the particular defense firm, they did a lot of internet marketing. They're kind of at the forefront of pay-per-click and SEO optimization. They needed somebody who could help build websites to gather more volume of cases. And in return, they let me kind of spin out and do a field of law under their umbrella that I can kind of pursue my own path. And it was kind of an understanding that I wasn't going to be there, forever. But they let me kind of pursue the technology side, and the privacy world is where I started to get into. And that's what led to some different moves after that.
So the
first of all, we have to ask if when we hashtag something, if that's legally binding.
We have a rule here that if we come up with a great idea,
because
we
that's
just
my
say,
interpretation of what a hashtag
when we come up
means.
with a great idea, we go hashtag I own that idea, hashtag you can't do it, hashtag patent. Is that legally binding?
Is that intellectual property at that point?
I want a nickel every time.
Also, Frank, I also do the like quotations, if that
The air
helps.
quotes, yeah. So
yes, the
which are
air
not a
quote
hashtag.
defense. That's a big one in the legal system. The air quote defense.
Your Honor, he didn't mean to steal the car. It was an accident. So when you started the path in the law career, did you know what niche in law that you wanted to go into, or was that you knew you wanted to go into law and you were trying to figure that part out?
No, to be honest, I just knew I wanted to do nerd shit because I was a nerd, I was a geek. And
you
so
say was
like
it's no longer a thing.
That's fair. I am, and I need to still work on that acceptance.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Geeks rule the world, dude. Look, you're significantly younger.
Stop.
You're significantly
Don't
younger.
get into
than
spreadsheets
I'm
and
not.
algorithms.
I'm just saying.
No,
I'm just saying.
no.
You're significantly younger than I am, and there was a point in time when I was younger that like I tried to hide my nerddom and my geekosity, and then over time, like with the computers and the internet and Marvel and all the other stuff
with the computers.
The computers and such.
computers and stuff, and damn computing machines. Nerds rule the world, dude. You embrace it.
Just so
do
you
it.
know, Frank, this is Cody's very famous for building a spreadsheet to go play golf with. He honestly thought he was gonna.
That's great.
Yes. See, it's
Sure.
great. It's great.
And how
Use
effective
formulas.
I still suck.
Exactly.
No. So here's what I did.
You just playing percentage.
Here's what I did.
No,
I went to the driving
it's not
range.
like it adjusted as his
No.
shots. He just
I
assumed
went
that I would
to
hit
the
him.
driving range and I hit multiple like a full bucket of balls with a specific club, and I went, okay, my average on that club is this, and I put those averages into a spreadsheet so that I could use, okay, this is how far away I am on average. I hit my 5-iron this far. I'm going to use that.
sabermetrics golf.
It didn't work. I suck just as bad. I'm still
And then after you got done with
You
the
tried to
spreadsheet,
moneyball
you went
your
and shot at
golfing.
125.
yeah. I didn't take into account the fact that I shank every fourth
Hey,
swing.
so that maybe there is something you could sell your spreadsheet story, a la Moneyball, but just call it something else.
Brad Pitt
And
could
it's
play
called-
you.
Well, come
Yeah,
on,
dumb.
Steve Buscemi.
So the your time in the criminal law side, did you enjoy that, or were you like, okay, this is a good thing for a while, I need to get out?
It was enjoyable in the sense that I got a lot of very interesting stories. There's the clientele is a lot different than the way things are now in the professional world, like corporate law, in-house, working, with your own company, your own team. I did enjoy the fact that I got a lot of opportunity there. In all seriousness, it was a tough time to find those kinds of jobs. And I got to go the day that I got sworn in, and received my permission from the court system to go appear in court and represent people. That day I was handed 3 manila folders and was sent off to 3 different municipal courts to just go start doing it. Of of course, they were the 3 furthest courts from the office, in the state of New Jersey because I was the newest guy. But, it's a rite of passage and just something you have to do.
Yeah.
I was still grateful for the opportunities
I
that I
thought he
got.
was going to say, I got 3 envelopes full of money and some things to take care of.
Did you at any point did you open up that manila folder and go, oh shit, I gotta defend like, oh man.
He's guilty. I know he's guilty.
Yeah, you did it.
If
You
I-
know you did it.
First off, they're all guilty.
Like the guy that shows up to his court date in the jersey that he's accused of stealing.
Yes,
Have you
yes.
seen that?
No.
No, honest to God, I've had maybe in 3 years of doing it, and I've told this story before. It's the truth. In 3 years, I think I had maybe one client who actually adamantly told me that he really wasn't responsible for the thing that he was being charged with, and that person actually was telling the truth. We ended up proving it through a camera system at the business next door to the nightclub that he was outside of when this incident occurred. And so in that sense, everyone else never even tried to tell me they didn't do it. And there was nothing about the police report. So I'm not saying it like people who say they're innocent aren't really. I'm saying nobody that I dealt with actually even claimed it. So
They didn't try to fight it or nothing.
They're like, all right, look, man,
Like, how do I get out of this?
I know I did it. You know I did it. Is there any way you can convince them that I didn't do it?
yeah, I mean, if I had to have this conversation with my family, my grandma in particular, who asked me, how do you sleep at night defending these people? But the reality
On a bed
with
full of
this
money.
is, yes, it's
You're like
because I
Kramer,
get
like Cal
paid.
King.
No, the seriousness is that you're kind of supporting the system
Mhm.
overall,
Mhm.
which is incredibly inefficient. It's incredibly inequitable. The things that would take place in some of the more disadvantaged cities in New Jersey, the kinds of drug charges and the repeat offenders who would get probation and nothing would happen to them, nothing impactful would occur by getting another probation or another fine. These people were not pursuing professional jobs that this would impact. There was very little consequence. And meanwhile, you had kids in college getting popped for weed charges, trying to go to medical school. And, these kids were doing these things, but you got to negotiate, an equitable outcome. Yeah, he should pay a fine, but his life shouldn't be ruined in a way that a much worse offense that somewhere else has no impact whatsoever.
And
so there's a lot of that where it makes the job really worthwhile to the person representing them, and that defense needs to exist in order for it to not get worse too.
yeah.
With the way certain cases are handled, and if there's not a check in place, it can get out of hand really fast.
And the system exists on innocent until proven guilty, right? And the cases need to be the information needs to be presented in a way that it's, to your point, creates an equitable outcome. And I see Matt. Oh, I thought you were going to grab the microphone and trash me, but yeah, I think it's commendable.
I did grab the microphone.
Okay, it's commendable, and I can't imagine it's easy to do that in a lot of those cases.
Yeah, there were a lot of cases. One of the main reasons why I left when I left is because I was trying to spin off. I did computer science in college, so in line with my brand, being a geek. So I was trying to get into the technology field and doing defense work on technology and computer-based crimes. I tried to develop a cybercrime defense website for the firm and try and spin it that way. And while I had a couple of General Computer Fraud and Abuse Act cases, basically like computer hacking and someone hacking into a computer or a system and corrupting the New Jersey Transit website or something like that. Those were really interesting, but turns out the most prosecuted cyber crimes are child pornography.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, well, that's unfortunate in itself. But the other part of that is they really don't prosecute those cases unless they have an ironclad case against somebody, and there's hardly anything that can or
Ah,
you know, it's not the kind of thing I want to be involved in.
yeah.
And so the firm handled those cases when I brought them in through this website, but very quickly after that, I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
This is not something I want to spend my time supporting in any way. Even with that other argument aside, with
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
system and all that, I just don't need this.
100% agree.
Uh,
It would be, I would not mentally or emotionally be able to immerse myself in that world enough to do the job. So I totally get you on that. So let's make the transition now from law. So you're a nerd that did some computer science and some legal stuff, and then at what point? So you left the cybercrime, and then how did you end up in the gaming world? And then I'm still trying to understand as we follow this timeline where the photography and all the other stuff comes in. So I'm sure we'll get there, but how did you end up in the gaming world?
Well, I mean, I was just looking for privacy-based opportunities. This one just happened to come across at a time where I was searching. I had just to speed through the rest of my career from the law firm. I ended up doing privacy consulting work down in South Florida, just outside Fort Lauderdale and Miami. That consulting work led me to get that really focused privacy legal experience. And then I just happened to see a job posted for PlayStation for that specific in-house lawyer role. And I wrote what I was told later by my future boss, wrote a really good cover letter that just spilled my guts that I'm a huge fan of PlayStation and gaming. And for whatever reason, it connected or resonated with him to hear me out on my actual competency and what I could bring to the table there. So it was just very fortuitous.
I have to imagine that in-house privacy counsel is not the kind of job that shows up very often. Like, right? I mean, I can't imagine there's not a bunch of those. It's not like project manager or air conditioning installer, right? I mean, that's a very specialized thing, and to find that opportunity at an organization that you already were passionate about seems like pretty fortuitous, right? That's the right word, fortuitous.
Yeah, and that was especially true then. I think a lot more privacy roles, both legal roles and other types of consulting and other work in privacy, have been popping up more and more since then because there's been privacy laws that have been passed in California, in the EU. It's just been popping up in a lot of other states now too. But at the time, yes, it was a rare find to see a company mature enough to have a role specifically for that they weren't just like passing it off to some attorney who's doing other things and they're like, you're gonna handle that too now.
Make this sound legal.
But at the same time, I think I consciously positioned myself to have the experience that when those roles did pop up, I was going to be very well suited, and there wasn't going to be a lot of people like me that would fit that role. So I just needed to jump on it as soon as I could.
And then, so you spend a handful of years at PlayStation doing that stuff, and then
can I ask a question real quick?
Yes.
Are you still a big PlayStation gamer?
I am, although I do play a lot of PC games now, but my console is still PS5, and I play all their exclusives, their storytelling games that they're extremely good at. The new Spider-Man that's coming soon. I mean, I still keep track of all of that.
Follow-up question: How
you don't have to announce that it's a follow-up question.
You have to raise your hand.
I find you a console.
How upset are you that Starfield is not coming to PlayStation?
Well, it is a Bethesda game, so it remains to be seen whether or not it will live up to what it looks like. But it does look really damn good.
It's gonna work on release day, okay?
And a follow-up question:
follow-up
what
to
is
the follow-up.
deal with the square, circle, triangle buttons, and not A, B, and C?
I don't think in his role he was part of the design team that made the square, circle, triangle, X.
No.
I was not, but I do remember having to correct a marketing deal where they were improperly referring to the X button as an X button. It's actually called a cross.
Yeah, cross button.
The official name for that button is a cross, even though it's
Hmm.
clearly that.
Yeah,
So
but
it's strange.
Xbox has the X.
Yeah, exactly. It's proprietary. X.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I would assume now more than ever, like privacy lawyer in any organization, especially in the digital age, is like probably one of the top jobs in a company.
There's a lot to do. I'll tell you that all of my peers that are doing that work, uh, extremely busy, very often under resourced. I think I'm very fortunate at Cruise now that the company that I'm at now is the self-driving car company, and safety, security, and privacy are the number one focus for them because reputationally, the biggest hesitation that people have is a fear or trepidation on, AI, robot self-driving cars, the safety of what they can do, and all the sensors that are on them roaming around the cities. What are the companies doing with them? And with our biggest competitor being Amazon and Google, they have self-driving car companies as well, and they're both neck and neck with us on the forefront of this technology. They already have a history of letting people down or being scrutinized, or people being critical of their privacy practices.
Yeah.
We can't afford to make those kinds of mistakes, and we don't want to. So it's very fortunate that the organization that I'm in now, we have uh, 3 privacy attorneys, two support staff for it, and that's not even including my manager, who's also in charge of our legal department of this group. So a lot of resources there. It's very fortunate.
Yeah, and I think that to your point, you have the benefit of watching some of the early companies make mistakes on the
Flounder,
privacy side, and to sit there and go, let's not do that. Let's, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I'm sure there's a lot of headway being made in that regard.
Yeah, it's been super interesting, and very different issues, but yeah, it's funny, the kinds of feelings and feedback that we get from the public in general. Uh, a lot of people are very reluctant, or will say, they don't trust a self-driving car, but if you give them a chance, and we've seen it where those same people actually get a chance to take a ride, after the first 10 minutes of riding around, they're like no longer looking around to see if it's making the right choice, and they're back on their phones and caring about their business. So
Yeah.
it's going to be really interesting to watch this technology unfold.
I trust a self-driving car about as much as I'd trust a submersible down to the Titanic.
Hey, look,
and that means I don't.
Yeah, look, it's
all.
inevitable. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen, dude.
Look, we're getting in Ubers.
Matt, you drive a Tesla.
Yes.
I was gonna
Yes.
say, you
Yeah.
does in your car have that mode?
I drive it. I drive my Tesla, exactly.
But we get into Ubers and we trust the person behind the wheel in the Uber
because
and
he dies too if we crash. Does that not under?
Hey,
how does that not?
Don't disassemble Johnny Five, man.
Yeah. If
Johnny
that car
Five
crashes,
doesn't
they
want.
just take that computer's consciousness and
What
put
was-
it into another computer.
What was the Mars movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Total Recall.
Total Recall that had the Johnny Cab. Johnny Cab.
Johnny
That's right.
Cab. Johnny Cab.
I trust Johnny Cab.
Okay, Johnny Cab. So, through your legal career and your computer science building websites in the back end, where did this photography creativity side show up, and why?
Yeah, so I've always had the bug for it. My grandfather, his career, when I was, just little growing up, he had done work in photography, and I had dabbled in it, but PlayStation, parent company Sony, while I was working there, I got some substantial deals on Sony camera equipment, and I started building out a little package of gear, and that really encouraged me to start using it more. I started seeing a more professional effect in some of the stuff that I was doing, and it's not to say you can't get there with more basic gear, and that I couldn't have found that but it just kind of drove me to use it more. Um, Using more professional lenses also started to make an impact on how it looked, and then I got closer to what I wanted, and it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah.
That's where I picked up, the camera and the gear, and then I guess a few years later, my cousin was in the Coast Guard, and he got stationed in Alameda, which was only 20 25 minutes from where I was living. And he was big into camping, off-roading, the overland scene. So when he got out here, I started going on a lot of trips with him. Started shooting with him. Just he also dabbled in photography, and has since really picked up the pace and shoots really great photos now too. But we just started going out, and that's kind of where like the Bronco stuff starts to tie back in, because my first car ever was Bronco, and I knew when they were coming back out with one, I was gonna sign up and get one. At the same time, I'm going out and using my cousin's truck. He's taking me out on all these fun trips. So I just was fully committed to the idea of getting this Bronco and going and using it. Ended up getting the Bronco the second week of production, which there's a lot of people who had day one reservations who still haven't gotten them.
Yeah.
And so I got super lucky, made the most of that opportunity by taking the truck once I got it to a bunch of different aftermarket vendors and manufacturers, and allowing them to use my truck for R&D purposes, measure it up, send me some prototypes. With that, I'm out experiencing these trips, taking photos of landscapes, and also shooting some photos of their product for them. Just started having more and more fun with it, getting better and better at the photography work. And one thing just kind of leads to another. I start meeting more people, going to these expos, running into people who want me on their podcast, things like that. And it's been a lot of fun.
Lame dudes in a spare bedroom talking on microphones. Well, and if you guys haven't already, please go to his Instagram page, which is at Franco Bronco. So Fronco Bronco. And you scroll through here, man, and not only the quality of pictures, like clearly the ability to understand how to use the equipment, but the composition and the way you've got things set up, and the action shots, and the post editing. It's all super cool, man. It's like in all honesty, like if I were to look at, if we hadn't had a conversation yet, I wouldn't have thought you were a geeky computer lawyer, that you were just a guy that was like always into art and creativity. And that I feel like that's fairly rare to find someone that's able to do the creative side so well, but then also during the day switch the other side of the brain and get down to the nitty gritty of contracts and legal jargon.
I think that's why it works for me. To be honest, I need that contrast. My day job is tech behind a computer every day, working on self-driving vehicles, reading dense legal stuff, staying connected like all day and night to make sure I'm responsive to work. And then when I get time off, and I'm very fortunate, my job allows me to take that necessary time off. When I'm off the grid. I'm not staying online. I'm offline. I'm manually driving this vehicle through rough terrain. I'm expressing creativity through, a visual medium. I'm doing a lot more video shooting these days as well, trying to tell more stories. And I think I need to express that creativity, that other side, in order to stay able to do the other stuff that I'm doing, to pay the bills and the day to day.
The post editing after you do the pictures and video stuff, are you doing that yourself?
Yeah, and I'm doing it very manually still. To be honest with you, I have a lot to learn about the workflow, and there's probably a lot more things that I can do for efficiency's sake, but there is a certain niceness about the fact that like I don't use a lot of presets. Every photo that I take, I kind of evaluate on my own before I do the post processing, and I try and figure out, am I trying to portray the most realistic sense of what it looked like? Am I trying to accentuate a certain effect of what it felt like to be there? I think that's a lot of why I did this stuff in the first place. It wasn't just to have a sponsored vehicle. I was doing the photography work just on trips and of landscapes. And I have a personal account that has everything but my Bronco on it. To me, those kinds of trips, and I'm sure you guys probably feel this way too, being out there and experiencing these things. The fact that your video podcast here has several people on it, that the shared experience of the things that you do is probably one of the best parts of it. When I took those photos, it's not to get the effect of people to say, it's not to build that FOMO or anything. It's to truly let them experience a little bit of it too, and hopefully inspire people to go out and branch out outside the box of what their normal day to day is. This kind of traveling, the places that I've seen, the stuff that you see on that account, I didn't even know that stuff existed when I lived back in New Jersey. I knew the beaches, I knew the Pine Barrens, and I knew New York City.
Yeah.
And the mountains that I was used to, for anyone listening in New Jersey, was Mount Vernon, Mountain Creek, which has to make snow every winter for you to ski down. And by the end of the season, you're skiing on mud and grass. Those are like the mountains.
Yeah.
I've come a long way, and I wanted other people to see that, people that didn't have the fortunate ability that I did to actually leave the state, leave and go see these crazy places. So that's the motivation that inspires me too.
I think there's and we've talked about this a bunch of times. There's so much adventure in the world, and we're fortunate to live in the center of it in Southern California with all of the land that we have. But there's so much adventure in the world, and there's so much capability in just your basic all-wheel drive SUV that 98% of the world will never ever experience. They'll never see Alabama Hills. They'll never see Moab, Utah, other than a screensaver on the back of a Windows machine.
There's a lot of people in SoCal that lived here all their life that have never gone to Joshua Tree.
Never been to Joshua Tree. Never been to Big. And it's just
or
so,
Idlewild or anything.
Yeah, it's so. I don't want to say confined, but it just seems like
it's very segmented.
Once I figured this out, like I got my first off-road vehicle when I was 19. Once I figured this out, it was like, okay, well, I need to see what's out there now. Like I can't drive anywhere without looking off the side of the road going, where does that trail go to? You know?
I think a lot of the people that have that capability, say they have a RAV4 and a 4Runner or something, and it's like, man, I spent $50,000 on this thing. I don't think they're thinking like, yeah, let's go four-wheel it. It's, man, if I wrecked this thing, I'd be over. So I think, and, maybe they're not aware of, well, there's different severities of trails. You don't have to go rock crawling and do Gold Mountain, in your stock Toyota. You can do some cool trails and still get out and see amazing things,
Yeah, I guess, but what I was getting at was the way that he's sharing those experiences in a much better way than I can. I think is inspire. It's going to inspire people to go do it.
I've never tried taking professional photos. Maybe I
you'd be shitty at it. I'm pretty sure.
I have the newest iPhone, and it takes amazing photos.
Yep, and you're still going to be shitty at it.
That's true, though. I mean, these cell phone cameras these days are incredible.
See.
It's not going to be long before they're rendering some of this professional gear obsolete. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Can I just ask ChatGPT take some amazing photos or create some amazing content?
I've been playing with that.
Have you?
Yeah, and it doesn't come out the way exactly what you. I was like, I want an Instagram post of a Toyota with a rooftop tent in the Southern California desert, and it was like a station wagon with the Toyota logo on it, and I'm like, that's not what I'm looking for.
And I posted it right away. 1 million likes.
Yeah,
with 276 episodes, though, I bet you have enough voice data that you could probably get these things set up and it can have a podcast for you, and you guys
Yeah,
can
we don't
just
even need
sit
to
and
show up.
listen to your AI podcast.
We're gonna take July 4th off. I'm gonna load all of the transcripts up into Chat GPT and be like, make a show.
It'll be our best
Make a
episode
show.
by
Oh
far,
God,
guaranteed.
I want. Let's do that.
No, the
Do
best
that.
episode by far is when we weren't even on the show. We had our wives get on the microphone and talk for an hour, and that was not great. I mean, it was great for them, not great for us.
That's clever.
So as you're doing the photography and getting more and more into it, do you ever find yourself like what's inspiring you to do the next thing? Like I could see that just looking at your Instagram feed, it looks like you're trying to push yourself to get to like the next style, and you've got, you know, a series of these styles and then a series of these styles. Like, how do you get to the inspiration to go there?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. And for some of the photography stuff that I did, um, you know, like I usually you find yourself taking a photo that you see something, you're like, oh, I haven't really hit that mark before. Like, so some of the moving stuff that you see, for a very long time in my feed, it was just me taking photos of my vehicle. Obviously, I can't drive and take those photos safely. So, you know, I started going out with some photographer friends, and some of those shots where some of them I'm driving and I'm moving, and I have my photographers set up, you know, where we're driving around. We're like, it would be sweet to get a shot from this angle. Others, they're driving, and so I have the opportunity to finally, like, you know, shoot my truck moving. And so it just kind of happens, and then you get kind of hooked on that, and you just want to, you see what you did, but you feel what you could have done, and you just kind of want to push a little bit further the next time. For me, my current focus right now is actually, I'm still shooting stills and filling some time with that, but I'm actually doing a lot of video work. And what I've found, inspired by seeing some of the content from some of the photography buddies that I've made in the industry, I really want to start doing a little more storytelling. What I'm doing right now is, you probably see in the last one or two posts that I have, I've been undergoing a lot of upgrades to the truck this year, and it was a group effort by several different companies who had contributed different parts. RPG for the suspension, you have Avery Dennison for the wrap, um, Falcon tires, 1552 wheels, advanced fiberglass for the fiberglass components. And it's great because people know these companies and they want to see what it looks like. They want to see the final build, and that's great. I know that that's exciting content, but I wanted to do something different. I'm always trying to do something different than everybody else. I felt like the angle that people needed to see was the one that I started experiencing getting into this industry a year or two ago, which was the people that I'm meeting, the people behind these companies doing these great things, building these products, caring about their customers. They all had stories to tell themselves, how they got there, what they did to, you know, it all started with the one guy's Forerunner who he needed a bumper and he couldn't afford one, so he could afford this used welding kit, and he just started fabricating this thing, and now, you know, he runs a bumper and fabrication company, and these are compelling stories.
Yeah.
And these guys are great guys because I've been hanging out with them. I've been going to shows, being in their booth. I've been out camping with them. And I want people to know, not just, you know, a product's great. A lot of product photographers can show a product in a positive light and it look great. And people know these products, but they don't know the people behind them.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be a differentiator for why to go use this company. Why get your car protective film wrapped by SS Customs? Let me tell you about his story, how he started this company, what his team means to him, what his team thinks of him. You know, these are things that I've found firsthand in encountering these guys, and that's what inspired me to try and turn it around and showcase that, because I don't think anybody is they're not doing it enough.
Yeah, and there's 276 episodes of exactly that. This whole thing started seeing people online, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and you're like, oh, that's cool. I want to know more. There's more to that story. I want to be able, I want to hear about that. And we've had the fortunate opportunity to have those conversations with CEOs of companies and race car drivers and all that stuff that does exactly what you're talking about, in that, yeah, you can see all of the stuff online and I double click to make sure I like it, but I want to know more about that story. I want to know more about what inspired it. And I think, you know, in the way you have the ability to visually represent that, if you can tell that story behind it as well, it's a winning combination. Like you're gonna do great with that. Are you, so as you're doing, I had another question that I was going to ask and I kind of lost it, so I'll come up with something different. Segue. As you're doing the filming and oh, that's what it was. You talked about how as you're driving, you're going like, oh, this would be cool to get a photo from this angle, right? That skill set right there is something that not everybody has, and I'm going to speak for everybody on the show other than you. We don't have it. Like when I'm driving and I'm leading a trail run or we're out, I'm so focused on not making a U-turn because I don't want to get yelled at for making a U-turn. Like I'm almost missing half to 3/4 of the scenery around me sometimes. Like I can't even, like I didn't even see that there was something there. I'm so focused on getting to the next route.
Yeah, that's what Jose's trying to tell you. Me and him are seeing like murderers up on the trail. Like
these guys see ghosts. They see Jason from Friday the 13th. They see all kinds of crazy stuff.
I'm not saying he was Jason. He was very Jason-like.
Yeah.
And we're in the middle of Mojave Trail. Like there's 50 miles from anything.
Naked guys running through the desert.
Yeah,
they've seen it all.
Wow.
I miss it. I don't see any of it. But like that's very.
You see what you want to see, I think.
Wow, I think I just got legal defense right there. My wife says the same thing. But that is seriously a skill. It's very much a mind frame to be able to be driving on a trail or out in the desert or something, and just like be able to imagine the backdrop and go, oh, if we turn the truck this way and set it up like this would be a great shot. Is that something that you just see, or does it happen naturally, or do you consciously have to think about it? Tell me about that. I
mean, I feel like I'm thinking about it all the time, but am I executing very well most of the time? Probably not. I take a lot of photos and then I'll use very, very few of them I'll feel are worth sharing. I think I'm also a little self-conscious. I think I probably have more that should meet that standard, but it's through mistakes. And I think my admiration for those who do it well allows me to see what I like, and I've seen it just enough times that usually I'll know what's wrong with my photo. I won't know how to make it right, and I'll just need to change the part that's wrong in terms of composition or whatever, and just keep adjusting until I feel like it's just coming into place. It's not easy. I mean, I have no formal training on this either. If I had gone to school for this stuff, I probably would be much better at it and much more well-versed on how to line these things up on the first shot. It'd probably save a lot of time. But the real skill that I think the skill that I'm trying to develop is remaining balanced with enjoying the experiences too, because that's also important. I've been out with various folks who do this stuff, the photography or influencing, online with YouTube and other things. And it's tough for them when it's full time. I know that there's a lot of pressure to produce the content, to continually push the envelope on what they can deliver. When you go out on trips, and a lot of the time is pausing, setting up the camera, capturing the shot, then going back, retrieving the camera, driving around again. You have to find balance to make sure that you and your group are still getting the meaningful firsthand experience before you're sharing it outwards to someone else. Like your audience still kind of has to come second in order for you to tell an authentic story.
Mm-hmm. So having to pause and set up and all this other stuff, that sounds like work. That sounds like a job to me. And, first of all, we don't do any of that shit. when we go out and we go wheeling, I'm not working. I'm there, and that's probably why we don't take any great photographs or whatever. I'm just there trying to enjoy my time off, and then in hindsight, it's like I see people post things, amazing photographs, great scenery, whatever it is. And it's like, oh yeah, I mean, I've seen that,
Yeah.
I didn't take a picture of it or
yeah.
whatever, but
I think we do that a lot where we're like, oh, we've done cooler stuff than that.
Yeah, and
Does
it's like,
anybody have a
man,
picture
I'm
of it
not-
though?
Yeah, 'cause
Absolutely
I
not.
gotta post up
we
and-
have Matt doing this on in his truck like this through the windshield as he's driving, and he's like, "Here, post this. It's gonna make someone throw up, dude."
No, it's all it's in that cloud drive, all my videos. So I expect someday we'll have an intern that'll go through there and just like clean them up or something, make them look
Yeah.
cool.
It's
When's that happening?
Yeah, it's not.
Oh.
It's very much an active departure from experiencing the trail or the desert or the run or whatever, and taking yourself out of that to be able to do the photos. We've even said a couple of times, like, okay, we're going to set up a trip that is 100% specifically devoted to just content collection.
And then Jose doesn't wear his trail chaser jersey.
yeah, and then exactly,
Fucker,
and then
this is the day we were supposed to all wear jerseys, and you didn't do it.
and
It's always Jose.
and we're just
Oh,
not.
I didn't get that text. Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
you
you-
responded to it.
Everybody else is wearing the trail chaser jersey.
It's very much it's like you have to force yourself to do it, and we don't do a good enough job of it at all. Fortunately, we're producing an audio show, so that, as long as we can keep doing that. But I do feel like there's something in the way the social media can share those experiences, and I feel like pages like yours and some of these other really people that are really good at capturing that are part of what has caused it to grow as much as it has over the handful of years, is because you can go out and go wheeling and see some guy on a trail in a crappy video and go like, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And then you go out and you see one of your videos of the Bronco making a hard turn in the desert with the cloud of dust flying, and then someone's like, oh shit, I got to do that. Like I need to be part of that, right? And I feel like that content sharing is helping to grow the industry and the business and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's a larger debate overall about social media. I think that a lot of the content, especially for like younger generations, the content should inspire and invoke feelings of like, I can go and do that. I'm going to go and do that. I think those are very positive outcomes for social media, but I feel like it's not necessarily what I see the most. What I see the most is the kind of stuff that is so embellished that it only creates the feeling that like, I suck because I'm not doing that. I'll never be able to do that. Those kinds of feelings can be very harmful, and the younger generations, especially, the social media is in grade school, high school, kids who have that stuff. If you're not doing something cool online, if it doesn't show that you're living this insane life, you're not the cool kid, and it's very toxic when it's not used correctly. I make a very conscious effort. I don't want to have that kind of outcome. I'm not doing this to just to make people jealous. I'm doing this to show like, I have a sweet truck, I admit it, but I'm putting it to use in places that you can do the same thing, just got to get out there.
Yeah, and I think that part of the why you can connect with people is you're not a photographer, full-time content creator, trained videographer. You're a guy that does a day job. Now, granted, it's kind of a cool day job, but you're a guy that does a day job that also like enjoys sharing your passion, when you're out there. And it's in a way that's like, hey, look at how cool this is. Get in your truck, come with me. You know what I mean? And I feel like, to your point, that inspirational type of content is what we need to continue to push the boundaries of people that challenge themselves to get out there and adventure. And whether that be shared through audio content, video content, or photo, like I hope that people see it and go, okay, I want to be part of this. How do I be part of this? Now there's another line there to your point where people see super sweet rigs and think that the only way they can get that experience is with $400,000 of shit bolted on a $100,000 truck, right? And there's a whole nother conversation there. But I don't think that I don't think that happens intentionally. I think that when you get into something and you don't know anything about it, you immediately start following things and go, oh, this guy's doing it like this. I love the way this looks and I want to do that, right? So I think it's also incumbent on us to go, hey, you don't have to have this type of vehicle or this type of tire or this type of thing. This is how you get out there and adventure. And we talk a lot about just run what you brung, like whether it be a Renegade or a crappy 80 series, whatever you got, a crappy 80 series that can go anywhere, anytime, just not fast. How often do you get the chance to go out in the dirt, man? When's your next trip?
Well, the past couple of months has been all these upgrades and a lot of video filming in the shop. So I haven't had the truck too much. But the next trip that I'm going on is up to Pacific Northwest Expo P&W.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be up there for that week of the 4th of July week and exploring that area. I'll be at the expo in the booth for American Adventure Lab. And then following that, I'm still working it out, but I might actually make my way all the way up to Washington State.
Oh, wow.
The Pacific Northwest is gorgeous. I've only been up there once, which was last year for Expo P&W. And I just want to spend more time up there. It's a very, very diverse area. You think it's just, giant redwoods and sequoias and whatnot, but especially Oregon, deserts, mountains, volcanic landscapes. There's all kinds of stuff.
Go to the Oregon sand dunes. I'm looking it up right now. I got the chance to go there. Where's this? I'm trying to find what city it's in. It's literally on the beach, North Fork, Oregon. It's called the Oregon Sand Dunes, just north of Lakeside, Oregon. And it's not very big. It's not Glamis or Pismo big. It's not very big, but it's super cool. It is super cool. And the actual Goonies rock is right there. You can see the rock from Goonies right there. And I got to take a Bronco out on those dunes, and it was so much fun. So if you head up the coast, man, I'm suggesting you stop there.
Absolutely.
And to your point, like the minute you turn right and get head inland just 2 feet, it's now all the trees in the world, all of the trees you've ever seen in your life, and it's pretty gorgeous up there. And you're gonna you're gonna go up to P&W and then potentially go to Washington, and then do you have any specific place you want to go in Washington?
I wish I could remember what it was called, but a photographer buddy of mine, his uncle has property up in Washington, and you got to take a ferry to get to it. So it's some kind of like islandish thing.
Island?
I should have, it could be. I don't even know if he actually told me the name of it yet. He just told me we should go do it, and I kind of was like, yeah, I'm in. That's pretty much how it works. So we'll be doing that. And then later in the summer, I also base some of my travel off of the expos that I know that I'm going to be at. So I haven't been to the one Mountain West in Colorado yet. I haven't been to Colorado myself at all. So very much looking forward to going out there and exploring. There's that. And then the Bronco Super Celebration about a week apart. So I might spend about 2 weeks out there. I know there's some legendary trails out in Colorado. There'll be no shortage of things to do.
I just found out my nephew's going to Colorado State. He's going to be in Fort Collins, and I said, "Sweet, I'll be crashing on your couch."
No, you won't.
I know, I won't. Are you able to, when you're on these long trips, are you able to work remote while you're traveling?
Yeah, that's another thing where I gotta kind of choose whether to balance that or not. If I know that I'll have cell reception, because I haven't gotten any sponsorship from Starlink, I would love to reach out if you're listening, but
they're not listening.
Usually, if I know I'm gonna have cell, they're not.
My mom and 12 other people are listening to this show. That's the only people that listen to this show.
Perfect. Well, hi, Mom. Also, my mom will be listening to this show as well. So. That's one more. Uh, if I know that I'll have cell reception and I know the place that I'm going to, I might do some work remote. I definitely have the option to, as long as I can stay connected and make my meetings and whatnot. But to be honest, like most of the time when I'm going out on these trips, the reason is to detach from
Yeah.
that, disconnect. So whenever that's possible, I try to not to mix it in too much. Granted, sometimes I have trips planned, but there's things going on at work and with my role. You got to just kind of step up to the occasion at times. But it's been very, very manageable, and usually it's used as a way to get away from it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was thinking like if you were going to do like a whole Pacific Northwest into Washington into Colorado and kind of make like a 2-week, 3-week
Yeah,
tour, you know what I
yeah.
mean? If you could,
For that, I probably will.
yeah, okay, I'm gonna get a
And
hotel for 3 days and like, you know what I mean? And be able to knock out some work in there in between and not use all of the vacation days, which I mean,
yeah,
but
I've done that, and a big part of exploring for me is not just the outdoors exploring. So, in the same vein, if I know I'm going to go up, like last year when I went up to Oregon, I went up, I camped 1 or 2 nights, then I got an Airbnb for, 2 or 3 days in a major city or area that I knew I could explore a little bit, and then immerse myself kind of in some of the culture there, the people culture, some of the restaurants, look up places that are well known, and mix that in. It's not just about like camping and
mm-hmm,
living outside,
right.
the four walls. So
Mm-hmm.
in that sense, for those kinds of trips, when I know I have a place I'm going to be posted up for a few days, I might take a few days for work while I'm there too.
That's usually me coming home from the desert. You always stop in Barstow at the Del Taco there, because it's the highly regarded Del
immersed in the
Taco
culture. Yeah.
It's very immersed in that culture, and it is the best Del Taco.
Yes. My wife and daughter and I did a family road trip where we did the same thing. It was, camp 2 nights and then we hit a major city. So we got our hotel and we went to dinner and saw things and then camp another night and then back to the hotel. And I really feel like that's it's a really good balance of mixing things up. And
You're leaving out like the special place that you went.
Area 51. We
You
drove
went to the Little Alien.
We went to the Little Alien, and Tammy wanted to go down the road to Area 51, and I talked her out of it. And but yeah, I think that's a great way to do that.
You just compared like that trip to he's talking probably about going to high end restaurants and staying in like the culture.
Oh man, on my bucket list there's a Atlas missile silo that I really want to stay at, that's out in the desert in Nevada, and you can stay the night.
What?
So I mean, I'm not above that.
He's young and hip and cool, and I had to compare something. That's I had nothing.
That was what, to me that was cool, but
there's you're saying Atlas missile silo?
Man, why haven't we stayed?
Yeah, it's on Airbnb. It was a former missile silo. I think it's in Nevada. I'll find the link because it's definitely bookmarked.
Area 25. Nope, that's not it. I'm gonna have to find that Airbnb, and we're gonna have to go.
It's a road trip.
The Bronco. So is it? You said it's getting a bunch of upgrades now. Are you getting close to being done?
Yes.
Anything more to do?
No, just swapping out. I have some of the first run production units for the suspension, so we just got to swap out for the final stuff, and that'll be happening next week. And after that, I think the build is pretty much done. It'll basically be, say, unveiled at P&W at the booth there. Actually, right now the truck is at American Adventure Lab getting some of the cargo equipment that they have for the back swapped out. They have some new designs. They were one of the first companies that I worked with, and so I still have some of their early prototypes, and now they've kind of refined the designs, the drawer slide, fridge slide with the fold out table, tailgate table, things like that to make setup in camp much easier. But yeah, it's been a long process, but I'm really looking forward to showing the vehicle in its final form, and really excited about the video project that I'm doing.
And when's that video? When do you think that video is going to go live?
Well, I hope that it'll be going live by, the end of the summer. I think I'm still just finishing up the last few interviews because I'm doing, one-on-one interviews with B-roll from the shops, showing, their different employees doing things and telling the story over their interviews. Still filming the last couple of them in the next week or two. I say probably end of August. I'm hoping that, I'll be able to produce the final video, whether that's one somewhat longer video or a series of shorter videos, something like that. Got a lot of stories to tell, but no shortage of footage at this point. So I'm very happy to see it come together.
That's, dude, you're super inspiring. Like, just it would be really easy for someone to go to law school and become a lawyer at a cool company and just be like, yeah, this is the life. I'm cool. But you're like, yeah, that's, I want more. And
I don't think that would be easy.
No, I'm saying it would be
I don't
easy.
think that was easy.
I'm saying it would be easy to get to that point and just figure you won the game and stop trying.
Oh.
Is what I'm saying. I'm not saying it was easy for him to get there. I mean,
Where's your law degree?
See, I'm taking a Udemy class right now.
Where's your Lamborghini?
Excuse me, sir. It's Udemy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that Udemy?
No.
Like Academy? No, it's Udemy, like Academy.
It's Udemy.
No,
It's on a sabbatical.
it's Udemy. I'm taking some Udemy courses.
First of all, Frank, what is it? You're the
Oh,
arbiter here.
I plead the fifth. I don't know.
Oh, man.
But I mean, you're doing all those things, which is a lot in one regard in your professional life. But then you're pushing yourself to do something on the creative side, and you're doing it in a way that's inspiring and super cool. No joke. Like your feed is awesome. You do a lot of great capturing of moments, and it's super inspiring to see that. And I cannot wait to see the video project that you got coming up. So you're gonna have to let us know when it's released so that we can talk about it. And then where's what booth you gonna be in at PNW? American.
It's going to be American Adventure Lab.
Okay. And you're gonna be up there for the whole week.
Yeah, the show starts, I think, that Thursday or Friday, and runs the whole weekend. But I'm probably gonna just take my time getting up there, spend some nights just, up the coast. I'm not sure if I haven't planned the route yet, but maybe do a little bit of the Lost Coast Trail on the way up. Something to take advantage of the fact that I'm driving up through there, because I don't get enough chances to do that.
Yeah, that's very cool. So anybody that's going to PNW, and I've just had a couple conversations with people in the last 2 days that are going to be there. We will not be there, unfortunately. We will be at Cape Toyota doing a grand opening for their new store. But if you're going to be at PNW, go by the American Adventure Lab booth and check out Frank and his super sweet Bronco. And I'm sure you're going to be doing a lot of pictures and video of that event while you're up there, right?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of content gathering that whole week. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and
due for a trip since I haven't used it in a couple months.
Yeah, and the build on your rig is awesome, man. I'm super jealous of it. Well, dude, thank you. Like this, I got to tell you, this story, like the story arc of this conversation went a completely different direction than what I thought it was going to be, and it's super like I told you early on, like we don't do a lot of research. A lot of times we just get people on and start having the conversation, and really we don't know what's going to happen. This was super interesting, man. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us and talking to us for the night, man. Is there anything else you want to tell the listeners before we give you your night back?
No, I think, just if they have any questions, one of the things I love the most is just answering, if people have questions about the gear or why I made the choices that I've made or about the places that I've been to. I like engaging with the community. I didn't do this for any other reason than the fact that, I like doing it. It's one of the benefits of not having to do it full time, is that I choose which companies I want to represent and want to work with. I choose when I want to go out and do these kinds of trips. And I know that I'm incredibly fortunate for getting the chance to be able to do that. So I just want to kind of pay it forward, share the knowledge, share the wealth. And so, anybody has any questions, wants to reach out, just let me know.
All right, everybody go follow Franco Bronco, Fronco Bronco, just like it sounds, and let him know you heard him here. And dude, thank you so much for your time tonight. I really appreciate it. We'll talk to you later.
Thank you, guys. Had a good time.
Thanks, Frank.
And bye, Mom.
Yeah, I was intentionally good with my language tonight because he said his mom was going to listen.
Yeah, I
just so
know,
you guys
right
know.
away. Just so,
That's why you didn't say anything.
That's why I kept quiet the whole night.
Yeah, one. So,
And you're right, it is Udemy.
I told you, it's like Academy. It's Udemy. Not Udemy.
I really don't know. This is news to me, how it's pronounced.
Look, I just.
No, not news to me. Udemy.
Udemy. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Total. So there's a graphics, vector graphic program that I use all the time, and kind of to what you were saying earlier about the photo editing, like all of the stuff that I've done has just been brute force. Like I figured out one way to do it, and damn it, that's the only way I know how to do it. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way, right? I know that this thing's more powerful than my 4 tools that I'm using on a regular basis.
Yep.
And I've watched. I'm like on the 8th session or something like that. They're all, a handful of minutes. And by 10 minutes in, I went, oh shit, are you kidding me? Like, that's how you do that?
Years of your life added up.
Like, oh, I have literally clicked every single node to try to, oh man. Yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid, but I love doing that graphic stuff. And so I'm taking the opportunity to learn more about it.
That's great.
So thank you so much. This has been awesome. We are going to we will edit. I'll edit the audio tomorrow. I'll release it. I'll publish it for download on Thursday morning. I'll send you an email tomorrow with the details. Let you know it's been downloaded. I'll create a social media post that we'll use to announce it, and then you feel free to use that however you want to share the story. And would love to connect with you any other time if you've got something else going on later in the world. If this video project comes out and you want to come on and talk about it, let us know, man. Super fun conversation, and I'd like to stay in touch.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate it, guys. Like, I know we had just met randomly, but that's what this is all about. When you told me that it was more like guys hanging out at camp, shooting the shit, that's exactly the thing that I love doing the most out of, all that this Bronco has brought me.
Yeah.
Those are the experiences that are the best. So I really appreciate just having a chance to come and hang out with you guys and talk, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again.
Yeah, if we could literally light a campfire in the spare bedroom and do this while we're sitting there, that'd be.
You
ever try and do one live?
Yeah, for the studio. What's
you
that?
have a fire pit in the back.
Yeah. Oh, you're right. We do.
Did you ever try and set this up and do it live, like recorded at an actual campsite?
Those, you can make the argument those are the best episodes.
Yes, they're
and
either the
also
best or the worst because
yes.
So we've done live interviews. We interviewed Kevin Jones out in Parker, Arizona on a trip. We've done recordings while we're sitting around the campfire.
Jeremy McGrath.
Oh, we did Jeremy McGrath. I don't drink, and at Johnson Valley at least twice I've had a couple drinks, and then we've turned on the recording, and that didn't go great. We've done, and we do when we do festivals, like if we're at Off-Road Expo or something like that, we'll usually record a segment live while we're there. So fortunately, it's we're at the point now where someone can just grab the microphones and we go right into podcast mode, and we know what to do. It's never good, but we talk. We we know what to say.
It's us though.
You're like me in my photos. I'm sure it's you're not giving yourself nearly as much credit as you deserve. So
I don't know, man.
All
12 listeners, all 12 listeners tell us that we suck, but they listen every week anyways. So
we are loyal 12.
Did they change it to the off-road festival at the Pomona Fairgrounds?
I don't know, Dick. It was a festival.
Fucking festival.
All right, man. Well, look, thank you so much. I'll be in touch over the next day or so, and then if you need anything comes up, let us know.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
All right. Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
See you.
All right.
Yeah, you know all the Renaissance fairs we
Off-Road
do?
Expo Festival.
All the Renaissance fairs that we
We
do?
should do
Yeah.
the Ren Fair.
There's people there in
Dude, I
like
heard
fur
it's fucking
boots.
dirty there.
It's very dirty there.
It's yeah.
Have you never been? Have you never? I've never.
Oh
never
my
been.
God. Oh, I got some stories for you, dude. I got some stories for you that are
Every time I
probably
think,
not podcast appropriate.
every time I think about Renaissance festivals, I think of that scene from the Cable Guy.
Oh
When,
no!
when he asked for like a fork or something, he's like, we don't even have
Wait,
forks.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go.
So Jose's talking about the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah, and it reminds me of the scene from the Cable Guy where he asked for like a fork, right, or something. He's like, we didn't have forks during the Renaissance. He's like, you didn't have forks, but you have Pepsi. He's like, look, dude, I just fucking work here. Right?
I always think of the role models. The movie
Yeah.
Role Models with Stifler, and they're doing like the
They're
role
LARPing.
play.
yeah,
LARP.
LARP,
It's
yes.
LARPing.
LARPing,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's worse than that. I mean, my ex-wife was super into Ren Fair. That was her thing, and
Did she fit
participate?
in?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. No, she got all dressed up and.
You know, a wand. She have a wand.
No, she basically she didn't LARP. You know, it's not like, but you dress appropriate, but they still treat you like
shit.
if
Like
you're
a
not.
peasant, if you're a peasant.
So this is what it is. It's like in high school, all like the acting.
socius?
No. You know the people that were in the acting class or
Drama.
drama
Yes,
class.
yes.
yeah, they're
it's
fucking
them.
weird.
It's them continuing to role play like after school. And now it's their turn to get back
Yeah,
on
it's
you.
like
You're
all
on
the
their
talk shit.
turf, dude.
Yes.
You're on their turf.
It's like the washed up baseball players that play softball.
No, it's worse than that.
Hey.
It's way worse than that.
Matt and I
Hands.
fit that.
Hands.
I resent that.
Dude,
Jose.
when I was
I've seen
1920, we were a
LARPing,
great
like,
softball team.
firsthand.
But it literally is that. Like, I remember the first time I walked in, and again, my wife's like,
Did you have
"Oh."
to dress up?
No. I refused to dress up. I refused. You know what?
So you
and I
showed
don't
up in
mean
your
it.
Tommy Bahama polo and
No,
fucking
just t-shirt and
pants?
shorts. T-shirt and
His
shorts.
Drive Like Jehu t-shirt and cargo shorts.
So I, the first time I show up, t-shirt and shorts, and immediately walking through the gate, it's like they're waiting for you to come in. They're gonna look at this fucking guy, and it was like, look at this lad with his knickers. He can't even afford any pants or whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck? Are you serious?
You're like, I'll fuck you up, sir.
But it was like, all right, man. You know what? I'm in your
Well,
realm.
from the future.
This is-
That's all you had to say.
well, and so later on, there was like this one spot where you could pay like $5 and you get a handful of tomatoes, and then you can wing them at a person like in a stock,
yeah.
But it's not a stock. It's just a big board, a set piece or whatever with your head, and you put your arms in. And so this was when my arm worked.
Yes,
I had a pretty
Bro,
good.
you were fucking hosing tomatoes.
So yeah. So here's the thing, and it's perfect the way they set this up. They set it up for me, like, oh, this motherfucker. Let's do this for him. They had that, and so there's two guys, and they're shit talking you while you're winging tomatoes at them, and they're trying to get you riled up because you can't aim for shit if you're pissed off. And right next to that, they had the beer, like a beer stand. So I'm like, oh man, I haven't thrown a tomato at anybody. I don't think in my life, I'm going to do this. So I paid the $5, and this guy's like I probably threw my arm out trying to get this guy. But the first couple of throws, like I'm wide, right, just all over the place. And the guy goes, oh, this guy, in his whatever
knickers.
fucking bullshit accent he's doing, he's like, oh, this guy's got an arm, but he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. And my wife's like, come on, let's go. And I'm all, nope. Somebody just got paid, Holmes, and the beer stands right here. I'm not going nowhere till I get this guy. I was probably $100 in. Well, we're talking beer too. We're talking beers too. It was probably 2 or 3 beers.
And I
Bro,
know you, and I
was-
know you as you. The further your
Rage?
your aim surprisingly is directly proportionate to the amount of beer you have
Yeah,
consumed.
so it started tightening
yes,
it up. Yes,
yes,
exactly.
Every beer you
I had to
like,
recalibrate.
Yes,
Yeah, exactly. Every beer was a recalibration. And then, so at first I was throwing so bad. He just stopped. He ignored me and he started heckling like other people. And that was the other thing. Like, there was a couple of times where he'd move his fucking head, like, and he would like, "Oh, you son of a bitch!" That was heading. And so I caught him off guard. Finally, I caught him square in the forehead. I swear to God, it's one of the happiest moments of my life.
Bro, that shit
like,
had to have hurt. Dude.
His head went back through the board, and he had to catch himself with his hands as they were sliding back out of the hole. I nailed him good. And then, you know, like, I got a high five from some kid. Like, people were cheering for me.
Yeah, but you made that guy's car payment that month.
You know what? No regrets. No regrets.
No regrets?
No regrets.
Hey, Perry does bring a good point. Like, what do you think your what our occupation would be in that time, dude?
I do want to say, like, the next year, because we went, like, I don't know, five or 6 years. Yeah, I probably missed a couple, but I was like, I want to come in and I want to dress as a stormtrooper. And she was like, you can't fucking be a like, she took it seriously because, like,
there's no space.
But I'm all, this is in a galaxy far, far away, long ago, you know, whatever. It's in the past. It's sort of
think about Star Wars. You put a X-wing fighter in the center of Ren Fair. It's Tatooine. Like, that's it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's somehow it's a dirt hut with an electric sliding door. They can teleport. They can teleport and fly at light speed.
We have light
but
speed
we build our houses out of dirt.
Yeah. You know, that was the low-income areas of the galaxy back then.
That's the Outer Rim, bro. Like,
exactly.
So you couldn't wear your stormtrooper outfit.
No, she wouldn't. You know, I mean,
I just
said that just to piss her off because I thought it was funny. But you know, every time I brought it up, like, she get all mad.
Your question about what do you think your profession is? There's a comedian that talks about, like, every time someone thinks about history, everybody thinks they would be the knight or the soldier or the warrior. We'd all be scooping shit off the floor. Like, that's the reality is the reality is we'd be the schlubs working for somebody else.
Now you'd be the fucking, like, so Game of Thrones, like, occupations, right? Like, you'd probably be the fucking king's hand.
No, I'd be the dragon fluffer, I think.
I think Matt could be like, you know, that head of security guy.
No, I'm swinging something like a hammer or a sword.
Yeah, you're like that head of security guy. You're like the king.
Man at arms.
Yeah,
head of security. All right. That's better than picking up shit, you know. Or
I definitely think I'd be the shit fucking picker upper.
The shit picker upper. Hey, Betty White says more than a few of us would have died at birth. 100%. Yeah, no, I wish I knew which comedian it was, but he talks about that all, like, how everybody wants to believe they would have been on the right side of history, or they would have. No,
I'd have been a royal. Or whatever.
Yeah,
no, you weren't. You'd have been picking potatoes out of the fucking ground and grateful to have something to eat.
In the Wild West, I just would have been some kind of horseshoe guy, like, just making. You know what I mean? Like,
I think about that shit all the time as I'm driving to work at 5 o'clock in the morning. Like, how the fuck did they do things like 200 years ago before, like, there was a concept of time, but you didn't have a watch. There wasn't, like, clocks everywhere. Did you just get up and drift your ass to whatever the fuck you did?
It was
like,
sun up to sundown, man.
Yeah.
What did you do though? Like,
well, I mean, you did something. You had to provide some way, like,
did you work like a farm or something?
Yeah, farm or fucking.
But imagine, like, sleeping in.
Can I be a sergeant at arms, like, in a town? Like, I could be a sheriff.
You could prostitute yourself.
That's what I would be. That'd be
my all front fans. my all west. My western all fans.
You'd be ye old fans.
Yeah, ye old fans.
Ye old fans. Horse trainer says he'd be a horse trainer. That sounds about right. If we go to a Renaissance fair, we have to take the microphones, and we have to.
They're gonna be like, there's no.
Look, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth the. I don't want to say wrath, but, like, the fucking annoying. Like, what is this? They don't.
Yeah, they don't break character.
They do not break character. Like, I've tried, and it's like, dude,
hold on.
Just annoying.
Perry G says, I've thought about doing the Star Trek time traveler thong at Ren Fair.
Matt,
is that a typo? or is he
that
literally
the-
going to wear his Star Trek thong at Ren Fair?
Was there an episode where they were wearing thongs?
Okay, I think he's talking about. I'm gonna nerd out here.
Okay.
Perry-
Thing, yes.
Perry-
Alright, oh, okay.
He was going to do the Star Trek time traveler thing. I see what you're saying. So you show up.
Oh,
Yeah.
thong.
Six of
I
us-
was gonna name the actual episode.
No,
that he was
six of
talking
us show up in Star Trek gear and be like Star
these.
Dates.
Oh, yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
We've landed on a planet where everybody drinks beer.
Yeah, but the whole part of them is like they can't intervene in the fucking society. That's what the Federation's all about. Even if it's gonna lead
You're
to their
talking
own
about the
demise.
Prime Directive,
Yeah.
Jose. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So isn't them by going to the planet already fucking up that directive?
Not if it's Tatooine.
Okay, we just crossed the threads right there.
Yeah, now you lost it. You
Um,
ruined it. We could
I
have
did.
we could have run on how much fun it would have been to dress like Spock, have phasers, and screw around with people at the Ren Fair. But now,
So if you're not at the Ren Fair on July 9th, whenever the Ren Fair is, if you're not at the Ren Fair
It's in
July
the
9th,
fall.
we will be at Cape Toyota. We talked about it a little bit last week. They're doing a grand opening of their Cape Adventure store.
is it bad that I pictured Perry in a thong like at the Ren Fair?
Yes,
That's probably pretty.
That is
that's not
very
good, right.
That is very bad.
Sorry, Perry.
So July 9th, Cape Toyota, the Cape Adventure showroom is opening on July 9th from 8 to 12. We'll be there doing our shenanigans on the microphone.
Can I come to that in a Star Trek uniform?
Sure, absolutely. We have a spot on our website on trailchasers.net that has all the details.
Where did Casey go? It
I'm
looks
not
like
sure.
he's like phasing in and out of
Yeah.
existence, like on the screen.
I don't know what's going on there. He disappeared. If you go to trailchasers.net on the homepage, there is a link to all the details for the Cape Toyota event, including a map for parking, where the vendors are going to be. I will update the website. We have a list of vendors that are already going to be there. We're going to try to get a couple more that I think would be a good fit, and we'll update you as we get closer. But we are hoping that we get a ton of people out there on July 9th to check us out. We need to do something fun. I don't know what that is going to be yet. Cornhole tournament or a.
That'd be cool.
Maybe that's like the secret password is if you give me the live long and prosper hand signal, you get a sticker.
Or
that's
if you,
like the
if
audible.
you show up in a thong.
I don't want you to get arrested.
It's
Well,
clothing.
I'd rather just see live long and prosper. Google that. You show me one of those, and I'll get you a sticker.
Yeah, we'll come up with something with some stuff for that. But that's I'm excited about that event. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to go out there on Thursday and check out the showroom and do some filming and talk to them about what's going on. We talked about the Joshua Tree last week, right? So I'm sure you guys saw I took the map and I tweaked it a little bit to change the route to eliminate Doberman Mine because I felt like Doberman Mine and OK Mine would have been too much. So I'm waiting to get some feedback from the group to see what that looks like. But my big concern about that trip is the heat in September.
Oh God. I was going to comment after Joey D had his grammatical corrections that I didn't see any Walmarts on that trail or anywhere near there. Were you aware there's no Walmarts?
Yeah, there's no
I don't
Walmarts
know if
anywhere.
I'm going to be able to take the Land Cruiser on that trip because it's going to be fucking hot, dude.
Yeah, in my my presentation of the route to the group. That's one of the things I noted is that it's going to be 110 and we're going to be on a fairly consistent
working the trucks very
incline,
hard.
on a rock. So we need to consider that. So I'll be having some more conversations with them over the next couple days to figure out what that looks like. But I do feel
They're
like
is Death Valley any better? Is it?
I do feel like that new route. I do want to go, even if they don't choose that route. I want to go do that route the way I have it planned out now. Like us go
another
camp,
dry run.
yeah, camp, go do that route because it looked like it'd be a lot of fun. And then what else do we have coming up? Well, I'm trying to look at the calendar real quick. What do we have coming up that's on the calendar? We've got the July 9th. What's it? Oh, I took off the recording for July 4th weekend. I mean, July 4th week. July 4th lands on a Tuesday. So I just figure we just won't record that night. I figure everybody be doing stuff, if you guys wanted to do stuff, we can, but otherwise we'll try to figure.
I don't know if I'm going to be very coherent.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
What's August 12th?
Do you not work on Wednesday?
Yeah, I have to work on Wednesday, but
But that's Wednesday.
Yes,
I want
to deal with Wednesday on Wednesday. Is Nicole? Is that your suggestion for another pre-run? She's talking in the. Oh yeah, so maybe because we don't really have anything in August, but in September we've got that Joshua Tree trip. We're going to be at the Adventure Van Expo in Big Bear, October 14th and 15th. That's coming up.
Whose van are we taking?
I don't know. LA Auto Show. The LA Auto Show is coming up in November. Have you guys ever gone?
I used to go over here.
Yeah, I've gone once or twice. Do you think it's worth going?
I don't think for the show it would be worth.
I mean, just for in general. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I would. I want to go see. I always like to go see what the fuck is coming up.
Yeah.
I saw that VW bus thing like 6 years ago when they unveiled it.
The electric one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that. I got the notice that was coming up, and then. But the only thing that's like
Tacoma would probably be a big thing there.
Oh yeah. The only it's like the week after SEMA. We had a conversation.
Are we doing SEMA this year?
Yeah, hell yeah, we're doing SEMA this year. Well, as of right now, hell yeah, we're doing SEMA this year. Let's see what happens if I get a job. Anything else? Anything else coming up that we Matt? Any update on the Frontier? The people want to know.
The people want. No. There's no. I mean, you know what I did last weekend because it'd been a few weeks since I even started it. I felt bad on a Saturday. And I sat in it, and I drank a beer, and I listened to the radio. So I was like, it's okay. I still think about you. It's sad.
Frontier. The Frontier has become his
dream getaway.
2 square foot man cage. His man cave.
It's all sad. Like, I come out for work in the morning, and it's right out parked on the curb. And I'm like,
it's like a beaten dog, dude. Just
remember me? Yeah. I mean, I still remember you. You're right there. You haven't gone anywhere. But it's very sad. Looks like the tires are always deflated, but they're not. It's just the way I perceive my poor truck. It has like seems like it's frowning.
It should be. Okay, well, I think that we lost Casey. I'm not sure exactly where he is.
Yeah, we got to get your parents to kiss at the Enchantment Under the Sea dance.
Apparently, Casey's.
Yeah, that's right. Casey. So, Casey, if you're not watching the YouTube.
You're next, Cody.
Yeah, you're next, bro. What are you talking
about? My wife is next.
and then me. Casey... Casey left the feed a while ago, and he's got the screen the screen generated thing in the background. And as the wind is blowing the blinds in his room, it keeps fading in and out.
It's either that or he's dressing up like remember in Karate Kid when he dressed like the shower, and he had a shower curtain around him. Maybe he's inside the shower curtain there.
Dave Frazier said Casey's wearing his Star Trek time traveling thong, and it's still materializing. Oh my God, Dave, that's amazing. Yeah, we'll let you guys know what's going on with upcoming runs, and
maybe Jose needs to get a magic rope, and
pull him out of the poltergeist.
realm, dude.
If you don't know what that's referring to, go back to
I think
2019.
Episode 90, I want to say.
2019 Off-Road Expo Poltergeist. Picture Matt and Jose drunk trying to explain
having fun.
How Poltergeist works.
How somehow the guy's daughter got sucked into a TV, and he was
not going down that path again.
I gotta go get her, I guess.
A rope will keep you safe.
We're not going down that path again. This is so bad.
Fucking rope.
This is so bad. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you to Frank for hanging out with us. He's clearly too good to be on this show.
Would you go after your kid
most
with
of
a
our
rope?
guests.
See, he fucked up because he thought about his own safety. I would have just jumped in.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Accolades to him for just.
He's like, how am I going to get back?
I need a rope.
Okay. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging
You would
out.
have just jumped in. You would have
This
just
is.
went.
I'm just gonna have to end this because they're gonna keep talking. I'm just gonna have to end it.
Where was the other end
Bye.
tied to?
It's cheap.